Hi ladies, I'm Pidge.
And I'm Mowens.
Welcome to the Night Shift Court podcast. We are two shift-working fantasy book lovers and love nothing more than leaving reality behind for a bookish adventure.
Join us as we go under the mountain to discuss our favourite fantasy fiction tales and the authors behind them.
Come with us to explore the stories, one shift at a time. Hi ladies.
Hi, welcome back.
Nice.
Yes.
Welcome, episode 33.
Would like to talk about something other than ACOWAR for just a second. Something
For
very-
once in our life.
For once in our life.
Not just on the podcast.
Yes. Something very exciting happened to us recently where on TikTok someone reached out to us to send us a book each.
I love the book community.
I know, right?
I think it's so sweet that someone has listened to our podcast and looked at our socials, decided that this is something that we would like,
Yeah.
and then sent it to us.
I know, it's very sweet. So Olivia Ma, she is an author, an indie author based in the US, and she has kindly sent us her book.
Yeah.
And we're going to tell you about it. We haven't read it yet. It arrived today.
Yeah.
But we will be doing a review afterwards. But we just wanted to say a huge thank you to Olivia because it's super special that you would send this to us across the pond. So this book in our hot little hands. So it's called A Clash of Tides and it is a Little Mermaid inspired.
Dark retelling.
Which I'm very excited about because I love The Little Mermaid. It's one of my favourite Disneys.
And I love a dark retelling.
You do. She's a dark reteller. So do you want to read the back?
Yeah.
I think
Just
we should-
before I do, though, I just want to comment on the cover. How nice.
Stunning.
We were just talking before about book covers, and every time I get a new book, I think to myself, gee, I love the cover.
Yeah.
And I really love to see, like, obviously the author gets this cover, either it's made or drawn by an artist, but I just love what inspires them to create their book cover. I don't think I'd ever be able to choose something because I love far too many things.
I know,
to
right?
make.
How do you choose?
Yeah. So I'd love to hear from anyone about who has had to do a book cover.
Yeah.
How do you decide on what you're going to put on the cover of your book?
It would be cool to get Olivia on the podcast and for her to tell us about this. So if you're keen, darling, we would love for us to host you so that you can give us a little bit of an author overview of what it took to get this, to this point because it's beautiful. So well done.
Yeah. So a dark twist on Hans Christian Andersen's classic fairy tale that will have readers asking themselves who they are and who they want to be. Oh,
I know, right?
Love it.
Yeah.
So Ivara.
Yep.
Ivara, beautiful.
Yes.
Has known that there was something wrong with her for some time. Constant nightmares plague her sleep and terrifying visions overtake her during her waking hours. But the worst part is her memory. Despite being over nearly 80 years old, she can only remember the last 2 years of her life. Only the sea witch seems to be able to offer any answers. But before she is able to get answers out of the witch, she's forced to flee her home in the sea, trading her life as a mermaid for that of a human woman. But the human world has its own set of dangers. As the bodies pile up around her, she must decide who she is before her past has the chance to catch up with her. Who was she before she lost her memory? What is the golden beast that haunts her dreams? And who is leaving a trail of bodies in the Wanker world?
Ooh, I'm excited. Yeah. It sounds great. And I love part of me that loves reading stuff that there's a background of that's based on something else is just the nostalgia for me. Like it's kind of like how I felt reading Manacled.
Yeah, okay, yes.
Because I was like already invested in the characters and the world.
Yep.
And it's like picking up from something and the familiarity just makes me kind of sit in the book differently to something that you have to learn about.
Correct.
So I kind of like this. But she also sent us some goodies.
Oh, she did, yeah.
So a bunch of stickers.
Yeah.
And
love me stickers.
some tea. My favourite. Earl Grey's my favourite.
Yeah.
And there's some beautiful fan art as well of the people that I'm assuming are main characters, Ivara and such, and a little thank you note. So, Olivia, thank you so much.
Such a creative idea for a book because you do see a lot of Beauty and the Beast retellings, don't you?
Heaps, yes.
And this is the first time I've heard of a retelling
of
in this
Little
context.
Mermaid. I'm really excited. And
Me too.
it's one of those like soft feel covers, which is the same as like the beautiful Claire Butler and Hayley Walker that we love. So shout out to you guys for all having the same delicious feeling cover. So yeah, thank you so much. It's so sweet that you would send that to us, and I can't wait to read it, and we'll let you know when we've read it and what we think. So last we left off, Maw and Feyre were getting ready to battle.
Yeah, they were on the hill, weren't they?
They were ready.
Winnowing to the castle.
Yeah, they were looking down. They had vowed their plan of attack.
Yeah.
Maw had vowed to Feyre, it's okay, do what you can, but I've got you. You don't have to do anything. And Feyre was like, no, I'm in this. And they're like the tightest little knit.
I have a nickname for Maw. I've been thinking about it. Blessed Bestie.
I love that.
Does that sum up their
it
relationship?
really does.
Just that they love each other?
Yeah.
So much.
I kind of feel like, so Lila, my daughter, has learnt to pinky swear.
Oh my God, that's adorable.
And like her little finger in mine is kind of like that vibe.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yes.
got you.
Yes.
So it's, pinky swear.
Love it.
Let's go. They, as the unit that they are, formidable as fuck, are killing Highburn soldiers left, right and fucking centre. They're saving all of the lesser fae in this castle and they completely clear it out. Like it's barren wasteland of bodies after they're done.
Feyre uses her magic to kill the soldiers, but Maw just beheads them.
It's brutal, isn't
Maw's
it?
like, I don't need magic. I've got some anger issues that I really need to. What an opportunity.
Yep. And they don't do it without like injury to themselves. There are definitely lacerations and things that they are, succumbing to, but they are a force to be reckoned with, and they end up absolutely annihilating all of the soldiers in this castle.
I just want to talk about the corridor because there's a little Easter egg in this bit.
Go ahead.
They arrive, they kill all the soldiers in the main bit, and then they go to the corridor, which was where Rhys had originally wanted them to go because that was being overtaken. Maw says to Feyre, don't be afraid, just as Feyre takes all the lights out. So the hallway is completely dark.
Yeah.
And Feyre thinks to herself that she shifts her eyes so that she's able to see in the dark. But she says, I think Maw was born to see in the darkness.
Yes, I remember reading that now.
Yeah.
And that is such a good point to bring up. It just goes to show you how little we know about Maw.
Yeah.
We know nothing and we need more. We've said it before and we'll say it again. We need more of Maw. But it is quite a big Easter egg. So, yes.
Yes.
Good.
I love this bit because we do see a bit about Maw. She doesn't just use her magic. She beheads them.
Yeah.
That's pretty brutal. That's pretty
brutal.
gangster.
It is the way to do it.
Yeah.
If you're going to really want to kill someone.
They move into the streets, killing everyone as they go, as you do, and more. End up in a narrow alleyway where Feyre tries to contact Rhys to be like, what now?
She's looking into his mind, seeing if he's going to nudge and let her in. She knows he's hunting whatever's causing a dampener on his powers because basically he's got, something.
She can feel him weakening quicker than he normally would.
Yes.
And I think most of the magic is, or the magic specifically of the High Lords.
Yeah.
So Feyre and Maw stop in an alleyway and Feyre checks in on Rhys. She finds his shields have been turned into a fortress and the wall is impenetrable, which says a lot considering his wards are normally impenetrable. Yeah. So she lays a hand against it and a crack quickly opens and drags her inside and then closes behind her.
So it's such an interesting way, like imagery to describe like a physical opening that she can then like slip into and then like shut behind. I kind of... Why do I need to Harry Potter reference everything? But I'm going to. It's kind of like, the bricks Diagon Alley opening. That's what I envisage when I'm like, an opening appeared in the bond. I'm like, cool, Diagon Alley's opening.
Yes. In I go without hesitation.
Snap it shut behind me, motherfuckers.
Feel free to never open it again. I'm happy here.
Yes.
So she now sees the battle from Rhyse's eyes, and she sees him land on board of one of Hybern's ships. She knows that Rhyse's power has been drained dramatically in comparison to what it actually should. Rhyse has specifically tracked this ship because he felt something stifling his powers and tracked it here. There's a few soldiers on board, nothing sort of significant to begin with, but then they part and the King of Hybern appears.
So he's there. No wonder he felt so pulled to it. Feyre makes no secrets about the fact that she's urging Rhyse to just kill the king now and get on with it.
Yes.
But obviously Rhyse is like, it's not that simple, girlfriend.
Yeah.
There's
Easy for you to say.
The king is absolutely wild at Feyre for killing Dagden and Branna. Like, he is furious.
Yeah.
He said that it will take everything. Rhyse has to try to stop him and then it's not going to be enough. The king is making threats at Rhyse now about grabbing Feyre, taking her away, and Feyre having to mourn over Rhyse's corpse.
Yes.
That's an image that either of them just feel sick to behold because their bond is so tight and they've both lost each other already. He's trying to provoke them any which way he can, and this kind of imagery is the number one way to poke at both of them.
Well, he did try. He actually said to Rhyse, the last report I received from Amarantha, she was still enjoying you. And Rhyse doesn't take the bait at that.
No.
But I think then the king's like, okay, that didn't work. I'm going to mention Feyre now.
Yeah.
And he muses to himself. He says, where did her gifts come from, I wonder, or who?
Yeah.
So
he knows.
they both know now that the king knows that Feyre has gifts from the High Lords. But I actually had a thought, and I wondered if Tamlin might have told him that, because remember, Tamlin is his ally.
Yeah,
and
supposedly.
Feyre's brought down the Spring Court. So for me, I'm like, well, it's a pretty easy step to then tell him you need to take her out because she's the dangerous one, because she has the power from all of the High Lords, not just their individual power.
Yeah, and I think that even if Tamlin didn't willingly give it to the king, that the king would somehow have coaxed things out of Tamlin with his power. Like, he's a powerful man. We know he has ways and means of bringing up ancient spells to get people to do things that they wouldn't ordinarily do. So it's not that far to believe that Tamlin's given the information willingly or not.
That's right.
So the king tells Rhyse that there was room for everyone at the table. He says humans, high fae, lesser fae, half-breeds in Rhyse's world, but only if they thought like him. So, I mean, that's not freedom, is it?
No.
There's not room for everyone at the table if you're making people feel a certain way. But the king says Rhyse looked down his nose at the loyalists. He says that he has no interest spending another 500 years bowing before humans. Rhyse tries to attack the king. But it's an illusion.
It is.
A mirage, if you will.
Yes.
Imagine.
He's tricked them again.
He fucking has. The little shit. I get it, but
I am impressed by the king's strategy, though. He's got a pretty sweet strategy. Like, apart from the fact that he's trying to kill or enslave the humans again, he's quite powerful.
Yes.
So
he's got the goods.
Yeah.
And he's got the smarts. I do wonder now with Dagden and Branna gone who he's like, and we know Durian's kind of fleeting in and out and Tamlin's kind of got this bargain going on, but we really don't know much about like who's close to him at this point.
No,
so
we don't.
It'll be interesting. So the king says this is just a taste of what's to come, and he continues to taunt them. He disappears, and as he does so, there's a dampener on the magic, which stresses me the fuck out, to be honest.
He actually does allude that to Rhyse when they're speaking. I've just thought about it. He like smugly smiles at Rhyse and says the spell will wear off. And Rhyse responds with, I don't know what you're talking about. But I had this moment where I thought, is he talking about the spell that's dampening their power? Or is he talking about the fact that Rhyse is essentially rooted to this spot on the boat and can't kill him or fly away? It got me thinking, is that
which spell
actually
does he
the
mean?
spell? Yeah.
Okay.
He's a very shifty man, just the King of Hybern.
Yes,
Anyway.
yes. I still have Lord Farquad in my brain.
Oh, yeah.
Every time I see fan art of the King of Hybern being this like
muted,
plain attractive man, like not unattractive, but plainly attractive. Like, okay. I'm like, no, it's Lord Farquaad. Thank you very much.
Yes. Yeah. No, I agree. So Rhyse throws Feyre back out of his mind at the end, saying you were here too long.
Vamoose.
Fuck right off. Off you fuck. But Moore is actually shaking Feyre as well. She's very rattled.
Yeah. Well, it must be dangerous.
Yes.
Right? Because
Feyre
is away, but her body is still physically with Moore in a very precarious situation.
Yeah. A blood-soaked back alley somewhere.
Yes.
Feyre adds to the disgustingness that is this alleyway by vomiting into the street.
She does. She
And then
does Ralph it.
Moore takes her somewhere else to vomit some more. And I remember as I was reading it, I'm thinking, I probably wouldn't have bothered, love.
Just let her get it out. Just let it get her
the
out.
alley is ruined anyway.
Correct.
We don't need to worry.
No. No, don't spread the mess.
No. So Feyre tells more about Rhys and the King's interaction together, and afterwards Moore winnows them to the palace's middle level where a makeshift hospital ward has been established. There's people everywhere. It's all chaos. Feyre looks up and sees Varian helping some wounded soldiers, and he actually approaches them, but Feyre says that she's far too tired to put up a shield. Trusting.
Very.
But she does feel Moore's power slide in between them. And I had this thought that Feyre has never described Moore's powers and what they feel like. We know a lot about what Rhys's power feels like. Cassian's is rough and, carved from the mountain, and Azriel's is cold and sharp, you know. But she's never actually described Moore's power, which is another thing about Moore that we don't know, is that we don't know what her power feels like at all. Yeah. She just said she feels it slide between them, but nothing else about it at all.
I do wonder if perhaps Moore saved herself from utilising power whilst they were killing everyone for this.
Yeah, maybe.
Because she knew Feyre was probably going to rely on her magic more than her
ability
warriorship.
to fight.
Yeah, because that's where her strength is. And maybe she knew Feyre was going to need something to protect her from Tarquin, who we don't know how he's going to receive her.
No, that's right.
Very precarious.
Severian walks slowly and stiffly. He has obviously been fighting as well. And he just says to Feyre he's in the oak dining room. She thinks he's talking about Rhys, but in fact he's talking about Tarquin. So they go in there and Moore sticks with her again, standing so close that she can feel the heat from her. Tarquin says to them, I heard you two helped clear the palace and helped clear the island. Moore responds to him, but he totally dismisses her, and he tells Feyre that he heard that the spring court had fallen by Feyre's hand, and he believed that the night court had arrived today to finish him off.
So he understands what Feyre has done to Tamlin and the spring court, and he truly believes that Feyre left the door open for Highburn to the spring court.
Well, they docked, the ships docked at the spring court, and then the summer court is the next
just there.
one.
Yeah. So he's like, get the fuck out.
Yeah. So he's seen the night court arrive and thought, oh, fuck, we're dead. Varian has obviously not told him about the message that he sent to the night court.
Not yet, anyway.
Rhys arrives in the room, and throughout some conversation, he actually reveals that him and Feyre are mates. Rhys tells Tarquin that his forces will remain until he deems that the city is secure, and then they will leave. And Tarquin's very bitter for someone who's just been, his entire court has just been saved by someone else, because he asks if they plan to steal anything else before they leave.
Yeah, I can understand where he's coming from, because obviously he hasn't forgotten about the last time they were there, but does he actually fully understand how much destruction has been saved because they were there to fight? And I don't think that he comprehends it yet, and I don't think he comprehends it for a while yet, but he kind of, Rhys says, we're going to go stay up there. Let us know if if there's a threat again, we'll be right here. Yeah. And Tarquin's like, fucking don't bother.
Yeah, yes, that's right.
It's so ungrateful, bitch.
Very ungrateful. But also, he's not thought any more past today. There's a reason that they've stolen the book.
Yeah.
And then there's a reason that they've turned up here today.
Yes.
And he's just dismissed both of those.
Yeah, I think, it frustrates me that someone so clever as Tarquin doesn't see the bigger picture.
Do you see Tarquin as clever, do you?
Well, I thought I thought he would be.
Nah, he's a blank piece of paper that says Tarquin. That's it.
Do you think?
Yeah.
I hoped that he would have put 2 and 2 together at this point, and maybe he's been kept.
He's dumb.
Yeah, it's a shame. I think
So pretty.
so pretty.
Such a waste.
It is a waste. So yes, he basically tells them to leave. He's ordered them to leave and wants out of their help.
But they don't. They remain because
They do their own
they are wounded as well
that's
and
right.
they can't yet travel.
Yeah.
Feyre does describe Cassian helping the wounded and describes Asriel as barely there because he's far too busy with his spies.
Yes.
But Feyre does everything she can to assist the Illyrians. So
Yeah.
she takes away bloody bowls of soup.
No.
No.
Bloody bowls.
She takes and brings fresh soup.
fresh water.
Fresh soup. She does sit down on an overturned bucket for a little minute, but then wakes up in a tent. I immediately had this thought as that's how I sleep after night shift.
When you wake up somewhere.
If I dare to close my eyes longer than a blink after working night shift, sleep.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Like if I get home and think I'll sit on the couch and have a cup of tea, absolutely not.
I did fall asleep in my 5-year-old's bed last night.
There you go.
Yeah. So we assume that Rhys has placed her in this tent, right?
Well, I mean, someone's seen their high lady just
Yeah.
sitting on an overturned bucket. I mean, she probably wasn't sitting upright anymore, right?
Well, what
She's slumped.
actually what would that look like? Has she fallen over and slept in the mud? Who would know?
Probably. So she's covered in mud, definitely. And
Yes.
that becomes important in the next 5 minutes.
It does.
I think you and I are thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Rhys is there when she wakes up and they discuss telling the truth to the other High Lords. So removing the mask of the Night Court to get the other territories to trust them. And honestly, that's the worst fucking idea ever.
See, I'm on board with this.
No, don't be nice to other people. Don't tell them your secrets.
The most important secret
No.
is Valaris, and that's not a secret anymore. I get what she's trying to do. She's trying to this is her human factors now. She's trying to humanize them to make them appear more trustworthy because there is zero trust between Rhys and anybody because they have not understood the sacrifice he made because they never knew about Valaris until this point.
No.
So they have to earn that trust.
Nah, fuck them.
How else are they going
Move
to get...
Valaris somewhere else. Don't tell him your secrets. Remain a mystery. Disappear.
Obliviate.
Ghost mode.
Oh, turn your iPhone tracking off.
We're not demure. We're just disappearing. Now, I will say that Feyre does say that Valaris is known about. The king obviously knows about her powers. There's no information that they know that the king doesn't know, so there's no point in keeping it. I mean, I fully disagree, but heavily disagree, in fact.
Quite
But
strongly.
here we are. They do also agree to keep Feyre's power a secret, apart from the gifts that she would have been bestowed with as High Lady of the Night Court.
Yes.
There's no information distinguishing the difference between the powers she has and what they would have been. She also then questions any further news about Miriam and Draken, who we haven't heard about from a little while,
Yeah.
but there's nothing there at all that's relevant.
Zero.
Feyre now decides that this is the perfect opportunity to get up and close and personal with the caked blood and dirt that is all over her and all over Rhys.
Do you want to talk more on this? Because I don't.
Seriously, Feyre, people are dying.
I know. Now is not the time for frisky.
No.
But I won't say what I'm going to say.
I'll say something else then
Okay.
to divert your attention.
Roger.
I think that authors deliberately leave out the bit about them showering or bathing in whatever capacity the world has because it's boring, right?
Yeah.
You can't just add in a sentence that says, and then Feyre and Rhys have a bath and they're all
Can
fresh.
they not do it in the bath?
Well, yeah, they could,
Yeah.
yes. But I feel like they sometimes leave it out and us as readers, especially in this century, are
Yeah.
like, ooh,
Yeah, that's rank.
that's putrid.
Yeah, putrid.
Literally, if someone tried to come at me after a day
Absolutely
without
not.
a shower,
Sorry.
putrid.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not for me.
It's not for me either. They're back in Valaris, and this is potentially my favourite part of the book.
Okay.
Because Nesta has her feathers ruffled.
She does.
She's like, where is he? And we know who she's talking about because Cassian is not there.
But Rhys pretends he doesn't know and he croons. I love that word. Who?
Talking about. I love this because I'm like, tell us,
baits her.
Nesta. Tell us.
Yeah.
And she's like,
Cassian.
and tries to like fob her concern off for like just mere questionability. Like
Yes.
she's just like, I just like to know. But no, we discover later just how concerned she is.
She sits in her concern for a few days, in fact. Anyway, but Moore becomes very defensive of Cassian and says he's busy.
Yes.
And then go.
It's this is why I love it so much because Sarah is weaving in jealousy where there isn't really any.
No, that's right.
But she's weaving it in. So we, as the reader who hasn't read ahead, we're like, oh, this is the ultimate love quadrangle here.
Yeah, that's right. Well, she says to her, when he gets back, keep your forked tongue behind your teeth. Oh, that's nasty.
Oh, scathing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Scathing, in
Loved
fact.
this bit. Yes.
But Rhys decides he would like to diffuse the tension, and so he sends a task. He says to Moore, you need to go and do this absolutely irrelevant task to avoid the brewing argument between the two of them. Amren and Nesta return to the sitting room, and Feyre and Rhys go down the hall. Feyre hears Amren reassure Nesta that Cassian has been in worse battles before, and Nesta croaks, I don't care. Yeah, you do.
You absolutely do. Stop lying to yourself and everyone else because everyone can read her at this point.
Yeah.
Like it's so
It's quite obvious that there's some happenings between them.
Definitely.
Feyre remarks how they both need a bath, further disgustifying what they just did. But instead...
Disgustifying. Love that.
But instead she tells Rhys to take her to the prison. So, firstly, we've declined a bath before the act. We've declined one after. So we're 2 baths down now.
And going to the priz.
Yeah.
The most disgusting place of them all.
Yeah, well,
to
maybe-
fester underneath. But also, but also,
Still here.
the prison. Like, just I get that things are happening quickly, but like you can wash.
Yeah, you can wash.
You can
as a priority.
Nobody's waiting for you. I understand the haste, but I very much also they have magic.
Yeah, but the essence remains, if you will remember.
Yes.
So Rhys might have given her what we call, what do we call it? In our house, we call it a wet wipe bath. You know, like when you have to use like wet wipes on your kids.
Yeah, sponge bath.
What do they call it? An Aussie bath where you just put fresh deodorant on?
A whore's bath.
Is that what they call that? Is that what they call that? I've never heard that. I thought it was called like an Aussie bath or a bogan shower, a bogan bath maybe?
For our US listeners, this is gold because they have like, what? What's a bogan?
Oh, they probably shower like normal people. Not like us without power for 4 days.
A whore bath.
Oh.
A quick sponge bathe by hand using a wet washcloth or a pre-moistened towelette to extend the interval between showers or clean up after casual sexual intercourse.
Pre-moistened towelette. I never want to hear those words again. I never say any of that to me. Ever
Okay.
again.
A French bath.
Oh yeah.
Essentially, you wash only the parts you need to, like underarms, feet, etc., and skip areas where you will benefit from natural oils.
Yuck.
A Cleopatra bath. To maintain her beauty, she often took baths in donkey milk and honey. I'm down a fucking rabbit hole now.
But I'm invested.
Pirate's bath. Take a really
Oh, no.
Take a really fast, half-assed shower where you only wash your armpits, genitals and butt. Or wash your pits in a bathroom. Sometimes I don't understand quite how we get off on these tangents. And then I'm like, when I edit the podcast, I'm like, oh,
That's how we got
that's
here.
the point. It went right down.
Oh, no.
Okay, I know that over the last few weeks you've all appreciated the certain level of unhingedness that we've had, which induces our wheezy lungs. So you're very welcome.
Yeah, we both have a bit of a wheeze still, don't we? Okay,
We really do.
back to chapter 40, please. They arrive at the prison to see the carver 2 long hours later. So we're minus 2 baths and a 2-hour hike.
Yeah, it's
Right.
rank.
Yeah. Feyre tells him, find another object. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
But the carver says, I desire nothing else than the window to the world. Riddles. Rhys actually only stands on the threshold of the cell, but when the carver looks over to him, he's like, ooh, I much prefer you bloodied up.
Yeah. And also, do we learn what Rhys actually sees? Because Rhys knows who Feyre sees.
Yeah, no.
But we don't actually learn who Rhys sees this time.
And we
do
also never learn who Cassian saw last time either.
Yeah, my guess is Briaxis.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
But Feyre is like having this conversation with the carver and Rhys is around the corner. And the carver says something to Rhys like, what do you reckon?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
So that he can come around and then he says like,
Yes.
yes, I much prefer you.
Yeah.
So Rhys is just like, oh, like, you know,
Yeah,
I'm not in this. Like,
This is the task he's done for Feyre, but
Yeah.
he has zero interest in participating.
Yes.
Feyre keeps insisting, choose something else. And he says, there was nothing else that he desires, but he does say, what about your firstborn? With a cheeky smile. Rhys at that point puts together that the bone carver is appearing to Feyre as their firstborn child. And he says down the bond, not just any boy then, because you would remember the first time they went, she told him that it appeared as a young boy.
Yes.
And Feyre responds, no, not just any boy. But the carver says, it is rude, your majesties, to speak when no one can hear you. How the fuck does he know?
He knows.
Doesn't he?
I reckon he can hear it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's insane. Love him.
Yeah, love it.
Wish he was my mate, honestly.
You can't be greedy.
True. They do throw a chicken bone from lunch to him and he hisses in outrage. And I feel like hissing should come back as a way of deterring people.
Oh, here we go. I now know next week how you're going to respond when I ask you to do something at work.
Yes, I'm going to hiss at you.
You are. I can see it now.
That is like, when someone like gets too close to you on public
Yeah.
transport, you just they'll step away quick.
Yes, I urge you to do so. Public transport. Who do you think you are? You don't take
Public transport in my life. Or like, okay,
public transport.
wanker.
Bus wanker. Have you seen the in-between?
That's the worst show.
I love
It's
it.
so good and so
I
bad.
fucking love the In-Betweeners. Oh, if you're American and you haven't watched the In-Betweeners, it's British gold.
Bus wanker.
Bus wanker.
Back to the cuteness of this moment. Rhys asks Feyre as they walk out, what does he look like? Which is so sweet.
Yeah.
And she shows him mind to mind instead
Yeah.
of explaining, which is so sweet. They return to the townhouse, go to the kitchen. Feyre again, third, talks about needing a bath, but she's too hungry, so they'll eat first. They halt at the sight of Elaine baking bread with the slaves.
She is with Nuala and Cara Dwyn.
Not slaves, sorry. Not slaves. Soon to be since
Slave. Nuala and Cara Dwyn are indeed in the kitchen with Elaine, who has all of a sudden decided to participate in life.
Yeah. Do you think it's because Lucian's gone?
I don't know. I don't have a theory.
It's one of two. It's one of he's gone and she can think and talk and act clearer, or he's gone and she's realised how terrible it is.
Yeah.
And that she needs to really, shape up or ship out, essentially.
Quite, yeah. But I'm glad to see her up and about.
Yeah.
Yep.
An old lady. Glad to see her up and about after her fall. They leave them to it and decide to make their own bread.
Yes.
Yet again without a bath.
Honestly, get them a bloody shower. Like
Have a horse bath.
Have a horse bath,
please.
I'm at the point where I was like, if I was at Az or Cass, I'd be like wet hosing them down.
Yeah.
Be like, fucking get your shit together.
You know what she needs? An everything shower.
She does need an everything shower.
Did you have yours the other day?
I did.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I did on Sunday. It was delicious.
I've been thinking of you
I
after
did-
your judgment of my shower routine.
Yeah, yes. Come on, you need to tell them now.
Well, I have probably a 15-minute shower every day.
This is wild to me because I spend as little time in the shower as possible because it's boring unless I'm having an everything shower. And then I am doing the things. I'm loving myself sick. But you have that every day. Not an everything shower, but the
But
length.
does it take you 15 minutes to do everything? Shave your legs,
Probably about
wash your
that.
hair,
Yeah.
wash your face twice. You got to wash it twice.
Yeah, no, I don't wash my face twice in the shower because it's too hot in the shower
Okay.
to wash your face, and I do a double cleanse at the sink.
Okay.
So I do a double shampoo. Can't believe we're talking. I'm like running you through my shower routine now. Why? What? Feyre is a dirty bitch. Back to the story.
The next morning, Nesta is sitting at the dining table, hoping for a special somebody to walk in, not Feyre.
No, she doesn't want to see her sister.
But Feyre eats in silence, scraping the bowl with her spoon. And Nesta finally says, "You're going to that meeting in 2 days. You went off to battle without a second thought. Why?" And this reminded me of a moment previously where she'd asked, what do you know of war? And Moore was like, "We know enough." That was before they went to the summer court.
Yes.
And I had said that I think that Nesta's starting to realise that she can do so much more.
Yeah.
This is another point where I think Nesta's seeking Feyre out to ask her why she's doing these things, but it's not actually for her answer. Do you know what I mean?
That's right. And I hope, and obviously we soon learn that Nesta's going to agree to come to this meeting, but I hope that, we don't really learn, but I hope she feels bad for all the time she just sat in her fucking misery, not participating and like worried about Elaine, but not really doing anything, but holding everyone else responsible for Elaine's fucking zero personality.
That's it for this episode of the Night Shift Court podcast. Join us again next week where we will continue the adventure of ACOWAR's Book 3, A Court of Wings and Ruin.
Whichever platform you're listening on, we would so appreciate a 5-star review. You can follow us at The Night Shift Court on Instagram, Facebook and TikTok.
I hope the night is kind.